Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. This upcoming patch has a lot of different balance changes, some good, some bad, some highly questionable, and so I wanted to test them all out on the PTS and see what each of them feels like. Now, the PTS has been a little bit unstable. It's been down for a lot of the week. It had a late release, so just in case it goes down again and we don't get to cover all the changes, I wanted to at least try them all on the shooting range and put them into a video for you guys to see, what they all feel like. So let's go ahead and get started with Saati. Now, of course, I already have a video going over Saati's kit in detail, but she did get a few buffs on the PTS since we got to first play with her. So her pistol now does, and I know I called it a revolver in one of my videos, okay, shut up. It's exactly like Cursed Revolver, but it got a damage buff, 550 damage now per shot instead of 525. Pretty small change, but we'll add up. And her coin also does a little bit more damage. You can see we can 4-shot Ying now. But yeah, her coin does a little bit more damage too, so we flick this up into the air, boom. 300 damage now per shot, and an explosion of 550 damage as well. It matches the revolver I said it. I said it acts exactly like Cursed Revolver, okay? Can you really blame me for calling it Cursed Revolver? I mean, look at it. Same fire rate, similar damage. It's the same thing. But anyways, moving on, we have Androxus. So, one of his cards got nerfed, Buying Time, which is this card right here, the card that generated ammo after activating Reversal. Now, before, it would generate up to 10 ammo if you had the card maxed out, which, as you can guess, is not right. Considering he got his max ammo card removed, this was no longer intended behavior for it to go all the way up to 10, so they've scaled it back to 5. Now, of course, what this means is that my old cheeky Godslayer build, which has Seething, Hatred, Power of the Abyss, and then only needed Buying Time at 3 to give me infinite ammo, now no longer doesn't work as well, because we only get 3 ammo after activating Reversal. And also, on top of that, the range on his punch was nerfed by 5 units. Honestly, not that big of a deal. If you're in melee range, you're probably not going to notice this, but yeah, we can no longer punch from this far away. We can punch from this far away, though. So yeah, if you care about it, then there's that for you. But yeah, this infinite reset build with, infinite Godslayer reset and also infinite ammo reset and stuff no longer has the infinite ammo portion of it without sacrificing some points on the other cards. So kind of a nerf to this build if you like this build as much as I do, but if you don't care about the build, then you don't care about the build, and Androxus pretty much is untouched. Atlas got 2 talent changes. First of all, Temporal Divide has a shorter cooldown now. Instead of increasing the cooldown by 65%, it now increases by 55%. So we can grab this, and we can grab a shield sort of built with Phantom Pain 5, and we can put down the wall. Big boy wall. And you'll see it only has, I think, a 22-second cooldown now? 24-second cooldown now. Well, 23, 24, whatever. And then, yeah, we can reduce the cooldown with this, but it's still a very lengthy cooldown. But it is going to be a bit more forgiving, especially if you buy Chronos 3, as you always should be doing with Atlas. So that's a change. And then also, Unstable Fissure. It's supposed to rewind within 25 units, but I don't think they updated the the description of that yet. But basically, it has Androxus's punch's old range, so we can test that briefly, but you're not going to notice too much of a difference. So we head in, and we try and rewind some people. So this was about Androxus's punch range, and we were able to rewind the Victor, but not the Fernando. That's really weird. I don't know, Unstable Fissure is weird. Most of the time you're only rewinding one target with it anyways, so yeah, but longer range, that's cool. Now next up is one of the most controversial changes because of the character that's getting buffed. Cassie is getting buffed. I know, I still can't believe it myself. The buff is that her projectile speed is faster by 5%, and she also has increased projectile size by 10%, so it's going to be a bit easier to hit her projectiles, especially if you're on controller, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, look, still almost as fast, it doesn't really seem noticeable, the speed increase, nor the projectile size increase. I mean, we still have to be decently accurate to Fernando here. Still have to be decently accurate. I mean, you can see that's off the Ying. Like, my reticle color changes to red in the shooting range when it's hovered over someone. So it can still sort of hit people when we're not really aiming at them. But, again, it's not going to be, like, too crazy compared to what it was before. But that was actually pretty crazy right there. But see, like, right there, we couldn't hit the Victor, so it still more depends on the hitbox of the character than it does the hitbox of the projectile. Like, Ying's hitbox is way too big. Just flat out. But, like, Victor's here is more accurate, and you can see, like, it doesn't ultimately make much of a difference. So yes, she did get buffed. but you don't really need to make much of a big stink about it. Like, it's not even noticeable. Not only did Corvus get a beautiful new skin, I mean, look at this, but he also got a damage buff. Now, personally, I think his healing is the underwhelming part and his damage is fine, but I guess Hi-Rez thinks differently. He used to have 1,000 damage per second, now he has about 1,057, and you can see, especially if we hit headshots, yeah, we burst these guys down decently quickly. It's still not, like, too much more noticeable, but we are getting that extra damage. And of course, if we combine it with Stunning Visage, we can do something like this, and we burst people down insanely fast. They really, really want people to use Stunning Visage. Honestly, I think it was fine on release and didn't need touching, but they've buffed Stunning Visage, and now they've buffed his base damage. They really want people to play damage Corvus, and honestly, I mean, fair enough, it's a fun build, and honestly, it's one of the most slept-on builds in the game. Oh, my lovely Evie is getting a buff. So, she actually got 2 buffs, one of them to her base kit, and one of them to Over the Moon. Over the Moon now does 25% more damage with your weapon shots after Sorens, instead of 20% damage, or 20% extra damage, so it's a little bit of a damage buff. And her blink is also 50% faster. Instead of taking 0.2 seconds to teleport, it now only takes 0.1 seconds, and it's actually surprisingly noticeable. So let's grab just a basic build here, and we're going to try out, of course, Over the Moon. So we soar. 1,063 damage per shot now, and it's still not enough to 2-shot Ying. So I still don't think you're going to see Over the Moon that much. We can try it again on Vic. Yeah, I mean, if they're already a little bit low, then Over the Moon will be a little bit noticeable, but it's still not enough to 2-shot either of these guys. So it's still probably going to be her worst talent. But look at the blink. It's actually noticeably faster. I'll have some side-by-side footage playing on the screen, but it does feel faster, especially as someone who plays an unhealthy amount of Evie. This change feels great. So, 10 out of 10 on the blink change. Still not going to use Over the Moon. But yeah, this blink change feels really, really smooth. Now, Fernando got a massive amount of nerfs to his shield, so let me read them out. Increase resource required to bring up shield up to 20%, so you need to have a fifth of your shield to raise it again. They reduce the base rate of shield resource generation by 11%, so it regenerates slower. And then they also increase the time after taking damage before full rate of recharge, so it recharges more slowly when it's active, and then you have to wait 0.7 seconds now before it'll recharge at its maximum rate. And then they also added a 1.5 second delay when your shield is destroyed before you can use it again. So they basically added a cooldown to the talent that removes the cooldown of the shield, if that makes sense. So let's try it out with the Cassies here. We're going to protect our fellow Fernando. Let's put this up, and we're going to take it down briefly, and you'll see it takes a little bit longer, not only to recharge, but also get that faster recharge rate. And now if we let the shield get destroyed, you're going to see that we do have a delay. Now, of course, it still recharges while it's active. It's still a very powerful shield, but it's not as spamming. You can see 1.5 seconds before I have to recharge it, and then now we can still raise it. So I'm going to spam right-click here, and we'll see. Okay, right now is when we get to raise it. So a lot of the changes aren't that noticeable to Aegis, like with the recharge rate and stuff like that, but that cooldown, that 1.5 second cooldown, is definitely going to kind of hold this talent back a little bit. It's still going to be meta, it's still going to be very, very strong, and you're still going to see Fernando a lot, but it is going to tone it back, and that's a good thing. Grover's Deep Roots got quite possibly one of the biggest nerfs we've had in a long time. So it will root and slow the initial enemy hit, and will chain the slow effect between nearby enemies up to 3 times. Now when I tested this earlier, it didn't have the root. I'm not sure if they changed that. They might have changed that. Nope. So it says it'll root in the description of the talent, but it does not currently root. They might change this later on in the PTS, but as of right now, it only slows people. And I think still cripples them, but it slows people. It doesn't root them anymore. No. Which means that you're no longer going to be getting those free shots for your team, where they're just sitting still for 1 second, free to be shot. Huge, huge nerf to Deep Roots. We might see a Ferocity meta for Grover instead of a Deep Roots meta, or even a Rampant Blooming meta if you're solo healing. But on certain maps like Timbermill, you're going to see less Deep Roots and more Ferocity, for sure. I already play Ferocity on Timbermill. It's my guilty pleasure talent. I love the big axes. But yeah, Deep Roots, huge, huge nerf. Octavia got a damage buff. Instead of doing 425 damage per shot, she does 450 damage per shot. Very slight damage bump up. Yeah, she kills things about at the same rate, but it is going to be a little bit more pressure on tanks, and in certain niche circumstances, you are going to notice that extra damage per shot. You're going to be killing things a little bit faster. And she also has increased effective range, so instead of having effective range of 110, it now has 125. So, yeah, right about here we're still getting full damage, and then we back up, and we're no longer getting full damage. I mean, actually still getting full damage right there, but... yeah, you'll notice some fall-off at this range. And they haven't changed how steep her fall-off is. They've just changed, you know, how soon you get that fall-off. So she does have a little bit more range now. And she's also slightly more accurate. Honestly, if you're talking scoped-in shots, I don't notice an accuracy difference. And if you're talking unscoped shots, well, you can see it's still a miss. All over the place. Mortal Reach got nerfed. Barely. Instead of increasing the tick rate by 25%, it now only increases the tick rate by 20%. So you're still going to have, you know, really fast healing, but they've toned it back slightly, so Cauterize is going to affect it even more, and you're still probably not going to notice it, the nerf, honestly, but she did get nerfed. Now, Sha Lin's Desert Silence talent got a bit of an interesting buff, so not only does it silence now, but it also slows the affected target for 15%. Really? Only 15%? But yeah, it slows people for 15% for 2 seconds and silences them, and it also reduces the cooldown of the crippling arrow. So you can see it has an 8-second cooldown right in the middle there, and if we shoot a pip, yeah, it has a 7-second cooldown now. Whoa! And it's supposed to slow them, but I don't think that's implemented yet because they are moving at the same speed. So I don't think the slow has been implemented yet on the PTS, but that silence is still there. And you do get a 1-second cooldown reduction on it now, combined with 2 other buffs you got. So Withdraw now has an 11-second cooldown. There we go. And Planted, or Rapid Shot, I guess Planted for us boomers, has a 12-second cooldown. Also, my sound effects are kind of bugging out. I've switched champions so many times in the shooting range that it's starting to bug. That usually happens. Interesting. Poor Skye, man. Smoke and Dagger, her most viable talent. Pretty much the only thing you play in high-level, like, ranked scenarios and high-level matches, Smoke and Dagger, has been nerfed. It now only heals for 100 healing every second, and it also makes it so that you no longer go invisible when you stand in your Smoke Bomb. Now, of course, with Debilitate and Preparation, you still get invisibility on your Smoke Bomb, and you can still run Healing Vapors and all that, but if you want to heal your team and you want to help your team out, give them speed, give them healing, then you no longer are stealthed. So we can grab this, we can grab, you know, kind of a basic healing build for Skye, and we can also gawk at her new skin. It looks pretty nice. I love this weapon. The sound effects on the weapon, sound effects on the new skin are amazing, and also the other effects. But yeah, you can see, throw this down, we're healing Fernando for a little bit less. We have Healing Vapors 5, and it's only healing for about 82 to 83 a tick. So, healing him for less, and yeah, you'll notice we don't have the invisibility effects. While in the Smoke Bomb, we are clearly standing inside of it, and we're not invisible. For comparison, if we use this ability right here, Hidden, you can see we're invisible. But we throw down the Smoke Bomb, we're not invisible, and Fernando's healing for less. So, massive nerf to Smoke and Dagger. And I don't want to say the talent is dead. Still does a lot of healing if you have Healing Vapors. But man, it's not looking good. Now, Strix got some lovely quality of life changes. First of all, his Talon Rifle fires 0.05 seconds faster, so instead of having a 1.25 second fire rate, it has a 1.2 second fire rate. This is just a straight up damage per second increase. He's going to be killing tanks faster, he's going to be able to hit his shots on squishy champions a little bit faster, and I don't play Strix enough to know whether this is noticeable, but I'm sure people who have an unhealthy amount of time on Strix notice a slight change. But the change I do notice is that his pistol is now fully automatic, so you no longer have to spam click for that ridiculously fast fire rate if you want to hit all your shots consistently and quickly and deal out damage in a considerable amount of time. Now, you just hold down the button. There's something strangely satisfying about not hearing the sound effects on the weapon and just hearing those damage ticks. Pretty cool. Now, I do wish that they gave Octavia also full auto on her unscoped shots, because they have a similar fire rate. You can see how fast this fire rate is, and then if we were to switch to Octavia, I don't know why I'm calling her Octavia today, you can see, like, if we spam click, it's a very similar fire rate, so I don't know why this is not full auto, especially considering how wild the spread is. But Strix's pistol is full auto. Like, I would really love to see full auto on this. That would make Octavia feel so much better, especially if they also increased the accuracy. Basically just made it like Strix's pistol, honestly. That'd be great. Now, Terminus also got a nerf, so instead of being able to hold up his power siphon for 5 seconds, basically consuming 20% resource per second, he now holds it up for slightly less than 5 seconds, 22.5% per second. So we hold this up. You can see it's draining a little bit faster now, so you're gonna have to be, you know, on the ball with resetting it through either a decimation reset build or a Shatterfall reset build or whatever reset build you use for Terminus for his power siphon. You're going to have to be on the ball with that if you want to keep your power siphon up infinitely, because it does, you know, it does go away significantly faster now. So honestly, a pretty well needed nerf for Terminus. Going against his power siphon with a good reset build before was just really, really annoying. Just having that purple siphon in your face the entire time was not fun to play against, so this is a nice change for Terminus. He's got to be slightly more careful now. Tyra also got 2 nerfs. First of all, her grenade at base does 50 damage less. Wait, what? Wait a minute. It says on the patch notes, look, I'll put it on the screen. It says on the patch notes it's supposed to do 650 damage. That's 700 damage. Okay. Well. Gotta love Hyras, making me look like a fool when I'm trying to showcase their stuff. Okay. Well, Oh, so they just applied it to Mercy Kill now. Okay. So it said on the patch notes it was applying to her base nade rifle, but I guess it's only applying to Mercy Kill now, so they did make that change. Let's test it out. Nope, still does 700 damage. Okay, so they broke the Tyra nerf, at least one of her nerfs on the PTS. But the other nerf, the other change, is that in the fray is now back down to 20% max instead of 25% max. So, yeah, you're still going to have nearly permanent 20% DR if you go Mercy Kill, right? Because you can just spam out these grenades, and if you're running cooldown reset on kill, then you're going to have a grenade all the time. Like, it's not hard to have infinite uptime on your grenades. So, yeah, still near infinite uptime on that. And the grenades are supposed to do 650 damage. They were earlier, like when I tested it a few days ago, like back when the PTS was up before they implemented like the Saati buff and stuff like that. It worked. So I'm not sure why the grenade damage isn't working now, but yeah, whatever, it's the PTS. I don't expect things to work. So you're still going to have, you know, 3 grenades, so you can get that permanent 20% DR. Now, it's not going to be 25% DR like it was last patch. Only going to be 20%, but, I mean, still. That's the part of Tyra that's strong, and that part of Tyra is still strong. And, of course, you can combine it with a fire grenade, and, I mean, just look at the damage output. So, yeah, Tyra's not going anywhere in the meta. She's still strong. Anyways, the final nerf of the patch, Enveloping Shadows, is nerfed. Basically, instead of getting 15% cooldown reduction per kunai, it's now only 12% cooldown reduction per kunai. Still really good cooldown reduction, and it lets you spam your abilities a lot more, but just not as much. So we can just use some abilities here, you know, spam out dashes and stuff like that, and just consistently hit these people. Oh, I missed because I'm bad, but yeah. You'll notice, yeah, not quite as much uptime, but still pretty decent uptime. But you'll notice, like on the dashes, for example, we are really not getting those, you know, drained as much. Like the quota's not going down too much anymore. But this is still a perfectly viable talent to run if you want to spam things. And I'll still probably be using it when I play Vatu. So that pretty much wraps it up for all the balance changes. Again, if you wanted to look at Saati in particular, I do have a video on that, which will probably be linked in the description, as well as the patch notes if you want to read those for yourself. I think I was supposed to say that at the beginning, but forgot to mention it, so oops. But yeah, if you want to look at the patch notes in detail, you want to look at the Saati's base kit in particular, then yeah, check the description for both of those. But that's going to do it for today's video. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. We're going to be doing some more PTS gameplay here in the future, assuming the PTS is up when I want to stream it. And yeah, if the PTS isn't up, I'll make a bunch of gameplay on Paladins, make guides, top 5 lists, stuff like that, so you don't want to miss out on all that. And also check out the Twitch channel and the Discord server, linked down below. I do stream regularly on Twitch, and we have a fantastic community on Discord. Also, it's really distracting not having sound effects for this. It's such weird gameplay. I hear people die and I hear the damage numbers, but... Oh my goodness, Vatu's silent. He's the ultimate stealthy ninja. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Peace out.